Hey guys, and welcome back to the randomized K-On! Pokemon Team Series. Let's see what Unova Nodoka is using. Nodoka's first Pokemon will be Glaceon. Not a terrible start. While ice types like Glaceon are not amazing Pokemon, mostly in defenses, they can still put in work and do help out against dragon types. It has outstanding special attack and its defenses are very good, although with that low HP, it's not as bulky as you might think. For abilities, they're both useful. Snowcloak makes it a bit harder to hit in Hail, and Ice Body is basically a built-in leftovers in Hail. For level up moves, it's pretty bad in all honesty. It's nice having stab moves, but two of them are physical, which Glaceon does not have the physical attack for. And the Hail Blizzard combo, while formidable, comes stupid late. For TMs, it doesn't really open up. Ice Beam is more than welcome as it's arguably the best ice move, and Dig and Shadow Ball are nice coverage I guess, but this is not very impressive. So while Glaceon can get some use if you're smart with it, it's still something you need to be careful with. Nodoka's second Pokemon will be Basculin. That's kinda unimpressive. I have no experience using a Basculin, so I have no knowledge of how good it is, and I have to wonder how Nodoka would feel having what is basically a huge piranha on her team. Its stats aren't the best in the world, but it does have very good physical attack and speed, so it'll hit quite hard and fast. For abilities, Reckless does seem a really risky ability to have, but Technician is one I've heard good things about, and Mold Breaker would be handy for countering other abilities. For level up moves, having Bite and Crunch would make use of that massive jewel, although some better stab moves like Bubble Beam would have been nice. For TMs, it's limited, but Ice Beam, Scald, and Return would make a decent moveset alongside Crunch, so while not outstanding, it is very much a Pokemon you can use. Nodoka's third Pokemon will be Gothitelle. One of the more unusual looking Pokemon, Gothitelle makes me think of Ember for some reason, even though she'd be a ghost type while Gothitelle is a psychic type. Its stats have a similar distribution to Glaceon's, with defenses and special attack being the highest, although the numbers aren't quite as high. For abilities, it's hard to say which is the most useful. Frisk can give you info on an opponent's held item so you can try countering it, and Shadow Tag can help with taking down fighting and poison types. Competitive, I don't know. For level up moves, there is the inclusion of Feint Attack for coverage, but like with Glaceon, Gothitelle does not have the physical attack to make it work. For TMs, it is very small, but having Thunderbolt and Shadow Ball is really nice. So, a usable Pokemon. Maybe not to the power level of Alakazam, but not useless. Nodoka's fourth Pokemon will be Ninetales. Look at that, one of the members of Nodoka's Gen 2 team. I believe Ninetales is quite a bit better in Gen 1 due to the combined special stat, but it's not a terrible Pokemon by any means. It has acceptable stats with very good special defense and speed, though it won't be hitting terribly hard. For abilities, I feel Drought is the better of the two, especially since the effect was permanent until Gen 6. Flashfire I think is more situational and requires precise guessing with switching. For level up moves, it gets basically nothing as it's a stone evolution. You only get choice by keeping it pre-evolved. For TMs, it's not huge in variety, but the addition of grass and ground to counter water and rock types is most welcome. So a good Pokemon to have. It's not a powerhouse, but it'll get the job done. Nodoka's fifth Pokemon will be Mienshao. That's a very good Unova Pokemon from what I understand. I haven't used a Mienshao myself, but I'd be interested to try it. It is very much a fast mixed attacker with heavy emphasis on physical attack but low bulk, so you'd better hope you can OHKO the opponent. For abilities, Reckless seems very risky. You get more power with recall attacks, sure, but you also damage yourself way more. It's very much the definition of double-edged sword. For level up moves, having U-turn and bounce for coverage is nice, though having to wait a while for a stab move if you use Mienshao immediately is not great. For TMs, it gets a few options for coverage which would help out. So a great addition to the team. It does seem to be a case of hit hard, go home with this Pokemon, but that can be effective if used well. And Nodoka's last Pokemon will be Escavalier. That's a damn good way to end a team. Like with Scizor, Escavalier only has one weakness, that being fire, and one weakness Pokemon are terrific to have. It has absurd physical attack and its defenses are really good. However, it's not actually that bulky since it lacks HP, and it is atrociously slow. For abilities, I think Shell Armor is by far the best. Swarm is kind of meh, and Overcoat, while helpful against Hail, isn't that great. For level up moves, it's pretty decent, especially since it gets some great stab attacks in X-Scissor, Iron Head, and Bug Buzz. For TMs, it's very short, but Aerial Ace, Focus Blast, Energy Ball, and Sludge Bomb are really nice coverage options. So an amazing ending to the team. If you don't have access to Scizor, then Escavalier would absolutely be worth considering. And that's it for Nodoka's Gen 5 team. Aside from maybe Basculin, she has some powerful team members with wide type variety. I can see her doing extremely well with this team. As always, please rate, comment and subscribe, consider backing me on Patreon, and remember to stay chilled.